That's hella funny.
Yeah, he is a smart person.
Ooh.
Him, and you know what, bro?
His video or the WAP video should win best video of the year. I don't know. I don't pay attention to none of that type of stuff. But when the ad keeps coming on for best whatever I was watching, it's like, oh, some music awards. Maybe it's VMAs. I don't goddamn know.
It is. I think it is VMAs.
But they were showing all these videos, and it was like WAP, blah blah, bleep blue, blue blue. Montero, call me by your name. I said it's gonna be WAP or Montero.
Yeah, look, I just want somebody black to win. I feel like there's some other good videos in there.
Are we back though?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, great.
We are back.
Okay. No, and then The Weeknd.
The Weeknd's video
has a video, but he looked like he got filler on his lips.
He does.
Well, I went to his Instagram to say, is this real life or?
No, it was just for the video. In the video, he gets beat up and
they
make him like a cartoon.
Bizarre
almost.
Looking.
Yeah, it is. He doesn't really have that.
It was just mad weird.
He has on like a whole face thing.
Okay. So he's not really about plastic surgery?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
But it's not real.
But then there's one other video of, I guess some white guy.
Sharon.
Is that the white guy?
Yeah.
It's like you knew what I was going to say.
I'm not voting for Ed Sheeran.
And then Doja Cat SZA song that I never heard that was just Doja like... Cat.
I think I know what you're talking
looks
about.
like WAP, but not WAP.
It was WAP.
It was a baby WAP.
It was the Doja Cat version of WAP.
It was WAP Jr.
Yeah, WAP Jr.
WAP, 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 WAP Jr.
Facts though.
Remember Nick Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, for some reason on here it's not working, but I guess we're on. Maybe because I'm not on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sometimes it affects it.
Call me by your name. So anyway, they made a diss track for all the hating ass haters on Facebook. Now I want to go to your Facebook and look at people's comments about your Black Men Meet, where, cis hetero black men talking about queerness and why they were perturbed. But let me explain something to you. People could be perturbed all they want because fucking I'm perturbed. So that's where I'm at. Everybody is in a different place with their journey on whatever the fuck they're going through in their life. So I say this to you all the time. I don't expect you to be perfect. Do you know what it is that I be saying? Do you remember?
Let's say it.
But I expect you to try. To make an effort. To have effort. And sometimes maybe I'll say like perfect effort. Maybe that's wrong. But that's my whole point. I expect that people are going to make mistakes and whatever. Same. But if your intention is to try something and you keep trying that, then that's what I expect for you to do. So I'm perturbed about this post that I'm about to show you. Can you show them the post and then go show the hashtag?
Yes, I can. Give me a second.
So I'm over here looking at I follow a hashtag
sorry
called intersectional feminism. And this is how I found some other things like TERFs, which is trans exclusionary radical feminism. And then I didn't see the thing, but then I saw this. Yeah. And, Lil Nas X's queer black man, he's posing as a pregnant person that could normalize the idea of men and non-binary and intersex people being able to get pregnant too. Talking about Texas government, activists ignore trans women and non-binary people while talking about abortion rights. Skipping down to the third part that says it's a form of gatekeeping where until and unless a person specifically comes out as queer in some way, they aren't allowed to do certain things. Lil Nas X hypothetically doesn't have to come out for him to be allowed to do this. Okay, so here we get to the juice that I had perturbed feelings about. That I own 100%. It's going to take conversation, critical thinking, expressing feelings, expressing top layer shit to get to the deeper shit of why I have feelings about this last part. Pregnancy, menstruation, and other biological processes don't belong to a certain sex or gender. That just reinforces the whole women bleed so much each month, and on top of that they carry a baby for 9 months, we're so strong, sex essentialist BS. People can talk about the pain they go through without making it an essentialist thing. I don't know if this is my agender identity talking, because I feel genuinely sick when people encourage such rhetoric, or my queer advocacy part speaking, but whichever it is, it's more harmful than what Lil Nas X did. Please stop deflecting, attacking him. So he had his thing, his picture where he's pregnant. Which brings me back to your shit.
Because I used a little pregnant picture.
You have to show the picture, but... in the meantime, what? So sex essentialism is a hashtag that's on this page. And I sent this to you. I sent this to my friend Lil MC, and I said, what? What? What?
Well, we looked at the hashtag for sex essentialism.
Because I'm like, oh, this is a thing? So... people with wombs, birthing, doing labor of childbirth. Oh, it just came on. Doing labor just to be the body that can do the function of childbirth, meaning bleeding every fucking month. What? Sex essentialist bullshit? No, it's essential function for humanity. To live, to be here. There's not a question about that. I think it's weird and does not make sense to be conflating sex, biological sex, and gender. And I was telling you the other day, when people say assigned at birth, the only thing where it makes sense to me that that's something that's being used, that particular assignment part, is when people are intersex, which I've looked at a lot of things about intersex, and I'm talking again about biology, because maybe you have both or partial, 1.5, whatever, right? It can come in all different type of ways, and therefore it's intersex. That's why the word is there, because sex has to do with your biology. Gender, non-binary, all of this stuff. I don't understand why sexism is not the conversation, or a conversation, when people want to go into all this what's the word? Philosophize about these ideas. It's philosophizing. So niggas looked at sex essentialism. We didn't look at gender essentialism. Because I thought it was a thing, and I was like, oh, I'm about to have to look all up and through this. Because my first mind is, what the fuck? Fuck that. So let's look at sex essentialism.
It's only 2 posts.
Only 2 posts. And the other one, I don't even understand how it makes sense. I'm not even going to get into it.
Yeah, this one's weird right here.
I had to look at comments on the other one to get what it means.
Yeah.
Let's look at gender essentialism. Oh, lots of posts.
At least 118, right?
Let's see. Let girls be masculine, let boys be feminine. What is gender essentialism, and how do we... Ooh, should we look at that one? Because it's... Oh, fuck the system.
Okay, do I have to continue with myself? Yeah. They're just like, log in.
Please,
log in
just go.
Yay!
You didn't have to. That's weird. You had to really do all that.
Yes, non-binary, lesbian, trans women.
Go down. That one. What is gender essentialism, and how? Can you go down a little bit? Oh.
Oh my god, it has multiple parts to it.
Yeah, that's what I want you to do. Okay, so babe.
It's a picture. It's like
you have to go back and not go up and down.
It's a video.
Oh.
It's a video.
This is very okay. How are you supposed to read it?
I know, it's like really small. It's like tiny. You gotta pause the video and shit, and then it shit's already right in front of it.
So let's just see if we can read what this says. People who commonly use gender essentialism to be exclusionary and discriminatory are radical feminists, misogynists, transphobic, and interphobic people. Interesting.
Really? Radical feminists. Wow. Misogynists. Okay. Transphobic and interphobic people?
Can you just click next and see if they'll do... Oh, they're going all into... So, wait, go back.
Yeah, so here it is right here.
Gender essentialism is essentially... the theory that our biological sex is intrinsic, innate, and it is the base of our behavior. Oh.
Okay, so, I mean, that last part, I think, is true. It is, I think, intrinsic. Biological sex is intrinsic. I think it is innate, but I'm not going to say that it's the base of our behavior.
Okay, yeah, I thought you said true. Like, yeah, no, that's the part that I'm like, oh, I question that. Mm-hmm. It's cis-normative and endosex normative. Okay. People just be having all these words.
I don't
Thus, they have been disproven by scientists, researchers, activists. Neither sex or gender are binary. Gender essentialism is factually, socially wrong. But why are they acting like...
But
binary just means two, right? So intersex would be the third. So is there other sex besides female sex, male sex, and intersex?
I don't think so.
Because gender and gender identities is not three. It's hella other things.
Yes, that's true.
Once you're not going by the binary, you're going by all type of other possibilities.
I mean, I don't even know what's being said when it comes to people and sex and deciding what sex is. You know, you and I talk about this all the time. I mean, to me, first of all, it's not my business what kind of sex somebody's having or what they want to consider themselves or what parts they have.
Unless they are a child.
I mean, and our concern are not the parts themselves, but we want our children to. We don't want nobody.
Somebody, then you make their whole life your business.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. But
I'm not gonna assign my child a gender because they're intersex and let a doctor do surgery. I'm gonna let them progress naturally.
Exactly.
And then understand them as a person.
Exactly, and then they can decide.
Because of the shit that I've seen and people have done and what doctors have done to infants.
Mm-hmm. Specifically intersex infants too. But all just regular infants, circumcision, all that kind of craziness. But we're not gonna get into that. Okay. However, to me, what it is down there is what it is, and how it works is how it works, and that's there's a science to it. You know, if you have a vagina, you have ovaries, you have the capacity to create babies, and if you don't have that, you don't have the capacity to create babies. So either you have a vagina, or you have a penis, or you're intersex. You have some combination of both. That's it. You know, I mean, so you could call it trinary. You feel me?
I fuck with that. I thought that... So this is something that I had in my mind. When they're talking about normalizing men having babies, what I thought was... You mean trans men? You mean people who are still biologically female sex? Because trying to get around that, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's not... I'm not confused about where that comes from for me. It doesn't come from a dislike, a distaste, a fear, or a hate. I'm just a hardline person in certain ways, as you know. And I'm not willing to blur the lines of that.
I feel that.
In the same sense of where I'm like, what does Sylvia I say? Water is wet, rocks are hard. Yeah. There's no way that I could ever look at the camera. That I could ever, with good conscience, say the power to create life, which I think is the most divine, powerful, one of the most divine, powerful acts of creation that we have, that we are endowed with, that I would take away from that in some way because of this type of identity politics, which would lead to this, which is conflating again I think, two different things. Conflating biology, nature, with social constructs, which is how people are nurtured, or what we're nurtured through. That's two different things.
It is two different things.
And conflating that is so useless to me, and that's disrespectful to me.
I feel it.
Not that last part, but that biological sex, particularly for the labor of children, is non-essential.
Yeah, it's kind of sexist, actually. I'm keep it real. It's kind of sexist. And look, I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for women.
You what?
I'm not a woman.
You sure about that?
Yes. Not a woman. Don't identify as a woman. You know. But I've heard women have this conversation, because really, women, in my experience, are the leaders when it comes to getting queer people. I mean, outside of queer people themselves, outside of just queer people with themselves, but non-queer people, women are the leaders in like getting queer to be normalized in society. Like, a lot of women are at the head of this movement. You know what I'm saying? In my experience. And there are a lot of conversations around how it's gonna be in society. And when I was learning coding, they used to have sessions that were just for the women, right? And the women, they have some for the men too, like where the men get together and we could talk about whatever, and they had them for the women. Then more people came, right, and some of those people were transgender, and in the women's thing they would talk about women's issues such as menstruation, like women's specific issues such as menstruation, pregnancy, like being a woman in the workplace, being a woman in XYZ places. And when the trans people got there, and this is not a diss against trans people, but some of those specific people said that it made them uncomfortable for the women to be talking about their periods and stuff. And so it was a safe space for women to talk about that. But
there were trans women? Yes,
trans women. It was trans women. And so it was essentially, and you know what? That's where I met La Fembear, on a side note, is doing that coding thing. But, you know, and they're not one of those trans women who was saying that. But there's other trans women there who were saying that it made them uncomfortable for biological women to talk about their periods and other feminine things, right? Other natural processes of their bodies and whatever. And they had to stop talking about it. And there are biological women who were there who didn't feel happy about that, who really felt a lot of ways about it. And that situation wasn't really resolved very well. That conversation was never really had.
Doesn't sound like it was.
Even though, right, that's what the circle was for, is to be able to have that conversation. And that's some of the experience I have with it, not being a woman. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And
that's infuriating.
To me, biology is biology. You know, society is society. We want to have society, you know, societal norms or societal identities. Okay, but the biology is the biology, and when it comes to that, I think we should treat it as that. To me, it's not about when it comes to science, it's not about what we perceive it to be. It's not about what society thinks about it. You know what I'm saying? To me, science is the process itself. People can have ideas about the kind of science that we do, right? Like, is this thing moral? Is this the kind of processes we should be endeavoring in? However, the processes themselves are the processes. And the process of birth, as magical as it can be, is also very scientific. Mm-hmm. And it takes very specific scientific parts to make that process happen. And those parts are what they are, no matter what you want to call it. You can call it any name you want to call it, and it's still going to be the same thing. It's still going to take the same process. It's still going to take the same tools. You feel me?
At least for human beings right now.
Exactly.
Even though there are scientific ways where people take those different parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, some animals, it ain't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Seahorses.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, but that's so random what I just said. I'm thinking about this, and then we should move on. Mm-hmm. And if you can get up your flyer, that would be good.
The flyer?
Yeah. Sorry I didn't put that in the thing for you. It's so fucking good, y'all. I was dying laughing.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was funny. This is it right here. And people really said it. But men shouldn't be having a conversation. I'm like, who? Okay.
Finna hit him with that same coffee in that 2020 twin. Cause round here, with that 2020 twin.
I'm on the road. Zoza pistol on patrol. All my homies in control. Palo Santo, burn for my soul. Let's go.